I've actually travelled all the way from Belfast today just to come to see this because I'm fond of the people who are actually on the panel. So I'm just like, right, let's go see what they're like in real life.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming this evening. My name is Keith Stewart. I have been writing about games for The Guardian for about 15 years. Things have changed a lot since I first got here. Like when I first started, no one was really kind of interested within the paper. It was like being read in Shawshank Redemption. I'd get these journalists coming up to me in the canteen and saying, oh, we've heard you're the guy that knows about games. And then they proceed to ask me questions like, is it okay for my son to be playing Minecraft or my daughter to be playing Minecraft 10 hours a day? To which I'd always reply, yes, of course, that's absolutely fine, very normal.
At the moment, I'm playing a load of games I can't talk about. Kalimba, which is an Xbox One game, so probably none of you will be able to play it because nobody owns one of those. But it's a really, really good Xbox One puzzle platformer where you play as like two totems.
I'm playing Resident Evil HD Remaster. It's kind of really hard and grueling and unpleasant and annoying, but it's also brilliant. It's a really old game and it's based on an even older game, but it feels weirdly like relevant now because of the sort of rise of really hardcore survival games and stuff. It sort of sits alongside the likes of DayZ and that nicely, and then it hates you and it wants you to die. And I kind of like that about it.
I'm playing a couple of MOBAs at the moment, so Dota 2, obviously, and Viscera Cleanup Detail, which is all about cleaning up after a horrible sort of space accident, and you just have to like incinerate alien limbs and mop up blood, and it's really satisfying. There's a kind of like, well, that was a job well done when you've got a nicely scrubbed space station.
Do you get the idea isn't it, that it's like there's been a Doom-style game, and then you're coming in afterwards and cleaning up?
You probably think I've gone a bit weird, but it's really, really satisfying.
There's a theory that games are about cleaning up, though, isn't there? Like all the games, the puzzle games where you have to clear the screen, and shooters where you kill all the enemies.
It's not annoying in the way that it just puts like objective markers all over your screen. You make your own objective markers, which is excellent.
At the moment, I'm playing Destiny. I kind of hate myself while I'm doing it. It does all the things I don't really like about video games, but I can't stop.
Everybody hates. Like, does anyone here play Destiny? Yeah. Do you like everybody I know that plays Destiny hates themselves while they're playing Destiny, but they just can't.
It's like an abusive. It's like an abusive partner. It's like do all this stuff and maybe I'll give you a treat.
Yeah. But then,
what am I playing at the minute? I'm playing a bit of HOTS, Heroes of the Storm. I really love HOTS. I think Blizzard, have a real knack for taking a kind of a genre or an idea and just getting its essence and producing something quite brilliant. And Smash Brothers. That's about it. I play quite a lot of games.
I thought it'd be a good idea for us just to go through some of the things that have come up recently in video games.
When you think about how you experience technology today, it's like behind this glass screen, and you're kind of stuck. It feels cold. We've unlocked the screen.
Yesterday, Microsoft had a big
this is the next generation of
Windows 10
this is the next
event,
PC.
And they announced their augmented reality platform,
display that you wear,
HoloLens.
And it lets you see holograms in your world, in your space, all around you.
A hologram is made out of light, which ultimately allowed us to pour digital assets over the real world so that humans can essentially be entertained and be empowered to do things in brand new ways.
The ability to draw with your hand or to take an asset, an image and move it or scale it.
That was science fiction, and now we're bringing it into science fact.
So this was the announcement yesterday from Microsoft. What do you think about augmented reality and virtual reality? Is that going to be the future of video games?
No.
Oh, thanks. Okay, next question.
Sometimes you'll see a scan from like a science magazine from the 50s, and you go, look at those idiots. They thought we were going to have, flying microwaves or whatever. Now, we're going to look back at this HoloLens advert in 10 years and go, those idiots.
I think it's possibly going to be like Kinect in that the most interesting applications of it and the most interesting things that people do with it will probably be outside the game space. So I think that it has a lot of scope to be used as a tool. Just I'm not necessarily sure that it's in gaming.
It depends on software implementation, doesn't it? Like the interesting thing about augmented reality is that it needs to know what's in your environment, I think. Implementation is the key, and also understanding the rules. Like one of the things with Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus, which are the Oculus Rift is the kind of Kickstarter-based virtual reality headset, which hopefully is coming out later this year or next year. Project Morpheus is Sony's PlayStation virtual reality headset. The big thing with those is the developers are finding they're having to create a whole new language of interaction. Every movement within a virtual reality world has to be from the gamer. You can't have any camera movement at all because that creates nausea.
If we learn anything from the original Wii, it's that this stuff is great as a gimmick, and you'll get your grandma around and go, "Hey, look at this!" And but then, like, I think there's a fundamental overestimation of how interesting it is to play a game in the room that you're in these surroundings. Like,
and they're talking about like making a level out of your surroundings, like. If they made a level out of my tiny flat, it would be shit. So you've got these massive like Silicon Valley giant lounges that you only see in American films, and like it's probably really cool that, but like the practical application for most people who live in small places is pretty limited.
Yeah. I wanted to open it up to questions.
I think one of the joys of interacting with what you guys do is kind of connecting with the passion that you have for the stuff that you're writing about and the things that you really care about. So what game for you guys are you proudest of having evangelized? And is there any case where someone else's evangelizing of a game changed your mind about it?
Well, I find myself constantly evangelizing Euro Truck Simulator 2.
He was doing it like before they were going on stage.
I bought that based on you, thanks.
It is exactly what it sounds like. You are a European truck driver.
Yeah, driving around Europe. Like they built a really good game around a really boring concept, but there's something like weirdly kind of hypnotic about it. And I spent a lot of time on Twitter, and I've written articles about it. An article went up on Vice today actually about how I've never been more at peace than when I'm playing Euro Truck Simulator 2.
I love it when other games writers get obsessed with a game. So when Pip talks about Dota and how long she's played it for, and like I am not interested in those kinds of games at all, but when Pip talks about it, it makes me want to go and buy it and get into it and like invest hundreds of hours of my life.
You don't have to buy it, it's free.
Oh yeah, exactly. She's doing it already.
I'd say evangelize esports because I think it's fascinating. The amount of times I have burst into tears over the end of a match in an esports tournament is embarrassingly high. But it's because you get swept up in that sort of the electric atmosphere. On the sort of point of what have I been evangelized at, it is that Euro Truck Simulator 2 stuff. But, Andy, do you have a driving license?
No.
Right, because the problem is I can't play it because I'm having a great time and then I go to look in my side mirrors and they're not there. And the thing is, I'm now trapped because I'm like, do I just basically build a lorry in my bedroom? Because that is what I need. But then Oculus Rift, you see, but then that's not that.
Yeah, and the mirrors are fully simulated, so you can actually look in them. So
live evangelism.
It's doing it right now as we sit here.
I'm basically going to get an Oculus Rift just so I can play Euro Truck Simulator 2.
Next time you're in Bath, come to the office and I'll put it on your head and you'll
show you my rig.
Thank you all so much for coming and thank you for asking questions. I'd also like to thank all my panelists, Andy, Philippa, Simon, Rich and Jordan, Erica, Weber. And thank you all for coming. Good night, see you downstairs.